Driverly.com, unlimited drama series.
The soft glow of my monitor cast shadows across empty coffee cups and crumpled energy bar wrappers. 3 in the morning again, debugging the core algorithm that would make my wife's company worth $50 million. The irony wasn't lost on me. I was the ghost in the machine, the invisible architect behind Jennifer's meteoric rise to tech stardom. "David, you're still up?" Jennifer's voice drifted from the hallway, but she wasn't talking to me. She was on her phone, pacing in that predatory way she did during important calls. I minimized my code editor and listened. "No, he's completely oblivious," she continued, her voice dropping to that honeyed tone she used for manipulation. "David thinks he's indispensable, but honestly, Brad, once we go public, I can finally cut dead weight." Mivm. My blood turned to ice water. Brad Morrison, her head of marketing, the golden boy with perfect teeth and an MBA from Wharton, the same Brad who'd been working late with Jennifer every night for the past 3 months. "The pathetic thing is how devoted he is," Jennifer laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "He actually thinks this is his company too. God, the look on his face when I finally tell him the truth will be priceless." I sat frozen, watching lines of code blur on my screen. 15 years of marriage, 7 years building this company from nothing, and she was planning to discard me like yesterday's newspaper. "My brother thinks I should have dumped David years ago," she continued. "Richard was right. I should have listened to him from the start. David's just beneath us, you know? Blue-collar background, community college degree. I don't know what I was thinking." Richard, her entitled, trust fund brother, who'd made my life hell since day one. The same Richard who'd convinced our mutual friends that I was holding Jennifer back, that she deserved better than a code monkey like me. "Meet me at the office in 20 minutes, Jennifer purred into the phone. "I want to celebrate on David's desk. He'll never know." The call ended. I heard her heels clicking toward the bedroom, probably to change into something that cost more than my monthly salary. I stared at my reflection in the black monitor screen, 42 years old, graying at the temples, wearing a wrinkled t-shirt from a tech conference 3 years ago. When had I become invisible in my own life? My phone buzzed. A text from my daughter Emma, away at college. "Dad, Mom says you're having a breakdown. Maybe you should get help before you embarrass the family more." Even my own daughter had turned against me. Richard's poison had spread that far. I opened my laptop and navigated to the company's shared server. If Jennifer wanted to play games, she'd picked the wrong opponent. See, there's something she never understood about being the architect of a system. I had access to everything. The security footage from her office was stored in a folder marked backup_MISC. 3 months of late-night meetings with Brad, right there in high definition. Jennifer bent over my desk, Brad's hands tangled in her hair, both of them laughing about what a fool I was. But that wasn't the real treasure. Hidden in the financial records, I found what I was looking for. Evidence that Jennifer had been systematically removing my name from patents, transferring intellectual property rights to herself, and planning to buy out my shares for pennies on the dollar after the IPO. She'd been planning this betrayal for over a year. I leaned back in my chair, a strange calm settling over me. Jennifer thought she was playing chess while I was playing checkers. She had no idea I'd been watching, learning, preparing for this exact moment. My phone rang. "Jennifer." "David, honey, I'm going to be out late again. Board meeting prep with Brad." Her voice was sugar sweet, the same tone she'd used when we first met. "Of course," I said. "Work hard." "You're the best, baby. Love you." The line went dead. I looked at the evidence spread across my screens. Videos, financial records, email chains discussing my removal from the company. Jennifer had made one crucial mistake. She'd underestimated the man who built the very systems she was trying to use against me. I cracked my knuckles and opened a new terminal window. Time to remind everyone why you never betray the person who holds all the keys. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I worked with the focused intensity of a man who'd found his purpose. By dawn, I'd copied every relevant file to encrypted drives, documented every instance of Jennifer's betrayal, and crafted a resignation letter that would detonate like a bomb in the middle of her perfect world. At 7 a.m. sharp, I walked into Jennifer's office and placed the letter on her pristine white desk. She wasn't there yet, probably still recovering from her celebration with Brad. I looked around the space that had once felt like ours and felt nothing but cold satisfaction. The letter was simple. Jennifer. Effective immediately, I resigned from all positions at Tech Vanguard Solutions. Per our original partnership agreement and intellectual property contracts, I'm exercising my right to withdraw all code, algorithms, and systems developed under my authorship. You have 72 hours to negotiate a transition, or I'll be forced to pursue legal remedies for hostile work environment and IP theft. Regards, David. I placed my access cards next to the letter and walked out. My phone started ringing at 8:15 a.m. Jennifer, panicked. David, what the hell is this letter? You can't just quit 3 weeks before launch. Watch me, I said, pulling into the parking lot of Murphy's gym, my sanctuary for the past 5 years. This is insane. You're having some kind of breakdown. Richard was right. You've always been unstable. There it was. Richard's influence, even in her moment of desperation. Tell me, Jennifer, how exactly did Richard convince you I was unstable? Was it before or after you started sleeping with Brad on my desk? Silence. Then, I don't know what you think you know. I know everything. Every late-night meeting, every patent transfer, every plan to cut me out after the IPO. Did you really think I wouldn't notice my own work being stolen? David, let's talk about this rationally. Come to the office. I hung up and walked into the gym. Murphy looked up from behind the counter, a 60-year-old ex-Marine who'd seen every kind of human drama. You look like a man who's finally ready to fight back, he said. Something like that. My phone buzzed constantly. Jennifer, Brad, our lawyer, board members. I ignored them all and spent 2 hours working out my rage on the heavy bag. When I finally checked my messages, the panic was beautiful to witness. Jennifer, David, please, we can work this out. Brad, dude, you're destroying the company. Think about the employees. Our lawyer, Patricia. David, call me immediately. This is a legal nightmare. But the most interesting message came from someone unexpected. My old mentee, Kevin Park, a brilliant programmer I'd trained 3 years ago before Jennifer forced him out for budget reasons. Kevin, saw the news about Tech Vanguard's meltdown. Want to grab coffee? I have an interesting proposition. I called him back. David, you magnificent bastard, Kevin laughed. The whole tech scene is buzzing. Jennifer's stock price dropped 30% in 2 hours. Just the beginning, I said. Listen, I've been working on something, a platform that makes your Tech Vanguard algorithm look like a calculator. Want to see it? We met at a coffee shop downtown. Kevin's laptop screen showed code that was elegant, revolutionary, and completely independent of anything I'd created at Tech Vanguard. I've been building this for 2 years, Kevin explained. Ever since Jennifer screwed me over, I've been planning my comeback. But I need someone with your experience to make it market ready. What are you proposing? Partnership, 50-50 split. We launch in 6 weeks, right when Tech Vanguard was supposed to go public. We steal their thunder, their investors, and their market share. I studied the code, seeing possibilities that made my pulse quicken. Jennifer will sue us into oblivion. With what? You own the core patents. Without your algorithms, Tech Vanguard is just a pretty interface, with no engine. My phone rang. Jennifer again. David, the board is furious. They want to meet with you immediately. Name your price, equity, salary, whatever you want. Too late, I said. You made your choice when you decided to betray me. This isn't just about us. Think about Emma. Think about our life together. You mean the life where you mock me to your lover? Where your brother convinces our friends I'm worthless? Where my own daughter thinks I'm an embarrassment? Richard was trying to help. Richard was trying to destroy me, and you let him. You all underestimated the wrong person. I hung up and looked at Kevin. When do we start? Within 48 hours, Tech Vanguard was in full crisis mode. Their lead developer, me, was gone. Their core product was legally unusable, and their IPO was postponed indefinitely. The tech blogs were having a field day. Startup meltdown. CEO loses husband and company in single week. The divorce that destroyed a $50 million dream. Tech Vanguard stock in freefall after founder exodus. I was working 18-hour days with Kevin, transforming his platform into something that would make Tech Vanguard obsolete. We'd rented a small office space across town. Nothing fancy, just two guys and enough caffeine to power a small city. That's when my old friends started reaching out. David, what the hell are you doing? Mike Harrison called me on Thursday morning. Mike had been my best man, but over the past year, he'd grown distant, clearly influenced by Richard's campaign against me. I'm building something new, I said, not looking up from my code. You're destroying Jennifer's company out of spite. That's not the David the first no. The David you know was a doormat. This David fights back. Look, maybe Jennifer made some mistakes, but you're acting like a psychopath. Richard thinks, I don't care what Richard thinks. I cut him off. Richard has been poisoning people against me for years, and you all bought into it. He's trying to protect his sister. You've been controlling and possessive. Controlling? I built that company while Jennifer took credit. I supported her dreams while she planned to destroy me. And you call me controlling? The whole friend group is worried about you. We think you need help. I laughed, a sound with no humor in it. The friend group that stopped inviting me to gatherings? The friends who whisper about how Jennifer deserves better? Those friends? David, save it, Mike. I know where everyone stands. That afternoon, Kevin and I were debugging integration protocols when my phone exploded with notifications. Jennifer had posted on social media a carefully crafted message about difficult times and supporting each other through challenges. But the comments section was where the real show was happening. Richard had rallied the troops. Richard, Jennifer, you're handling this with such grace. Some people can't accept when they're not the star of the show. Mike, thinking of you both. Hope David gets the help he needs. Sarah Chen, Jennifer's best friend. You deserve so much better, Jen. Always knew David was holding you back. Tom Rodriguez, another former friend. Classic narcissist behavior. Making everything about him when you're trying to build something amazing. Even Emma had chimed in. Mom, ignore the haters. Dad's just having a midlife crisis. He'll get over it. I'm in Yanning Waptrozid. I showed Kevin the thread. He whistled low. They really did a number on you, didn't they? Years of careful manipulation, I said. Richard's good at what he does. Turn the victim into the villain. Make everyone think the betrayed spouse is the real problem. Well, let's give them something real to worry about. Kevin pulled up our platform's interface. In just 3 days, we'd created something that wasn't just competitive with Tech Vanguard. It was superior in every measurable way. We need investors, Kevin said. I know some people who might be interested. I know exactly who to call. Patricia Vance, Tech Vanguard's former legal counsel, had quit that morning. Apparently, Jennifer had blamed her for not preventing my departure. Patricia was brilliant, connected, and now thoroughly pissed off at my ex-wife. David, she said when I called. I was hoping to hear from you. Interested in some consulting work. Depends. Are we destroying Jennifer's life or just her company? Why not both? We met that evening at a downtown bar. Patricia had brought someone with her, Marcus Webb, a venture capitalist who'd tried to invest in Tech Vanguard 6 months ago before Jennifer turned him down. She said she didn't need old money backing her vision, Marcus explained, sipping his whiskey. Called me outdated and suggested I stick to traditional investments. How's that working out for her now? I asked. Marcus smiled. Show me what you've built. Kevin's presentation was flawless. The platform was faster, more secure, and more scalable than anything on the market. Marcus asked technical questions that I answered with the confidence of someone who'd spent 15 years perfecting his craft. How quickly can you launch? Marcus asked. 2 weeks, Kevin said. I want exclusive first-round investment rights, Marcus said. 5 million, 30% equity. I looked at Kevin, who nodded. Deal, I said. My phone rang. Jennifer, David, please. The board is threatening to sue you for sabotage. Just come back, and we can work this out. Too late, I said, watching Marcus sign the investment papers. I'm not coming back. I'm moving forward. This is insane. You're throwing away everything we built together. No, Jennifer. You threw it away when you decided I was disposable. I'm just building something better. I hung up and raised my glass with Kevin and Marcus. To new beginnings, I said. But I knew this was just the opening move. Jennifer, Richard, and my former friends had no idea what was coming next. The confrontation I'd been expecting came on a Friday night, 2 weeks later. Kevin and I were working late, putting finishing touches on our platform launch, when Mike, Tom, and Sarah walked into our office. We need to talk, Mike said. his voice carrying that patronizing tone I'd grown to hate. About what? I asked, not looking up from my screen. About what you're doing to Jennifer, Sarah said. This has gone too far, David. I finally turned around. 3 people who'd been my friends for over a decade, now standing in my office like an intervention committee. Let me guess, Richard sent you. Richard's concerned about his sister, Tom said. We all are. You're destroying her life out of spite. I'm building my own life, I corrected. There's a difference. By sabotaging hers? Sarah's voice was sharp. Jennifer's company is failing because of your tantrum. Jennifer's company is failing because it was built on stolen work and lies, I said, standing up. But I guess Richard didn't mention that part. You're being paranoid, Mike said. Jennifer loved you.
2,000. I didn't get any jewelry.
I was ending
With a
it.
diamond goodbye gift?
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
She supported your work. She supported my work by stealing credit for it. By planning to force me out after the IPO? By sleeping with her marketing director on my desk? The silence that followed was telling. You knew, I said, studying their faces. You all knew about the affair. Sarah looked uncomfortable. It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. My wife was cheating, planning to destroy me professionally, and you all knew about it. But I'm the villain for fighting back. Jennifer made mistakes, Tom admitted. But you're taking this too far. The lawsuit threats, the competing company. The what now? Kevin interrupted from his desk. Mike looked embarrassed. Richard thinks David might be using proprietary Tech Vanguard code in his new venture. I laughed, a sound with no warmth. Of course he does. Can't accept that I might actually be better than the golden boy Brad. This isn't about Brad, Sarah said. This is about you having a breakdown and hurting everyone around you. Everyone around me? I stepped closer. You mean the friends who stopped inviting me places? The wife who mocked me to her lover? The daughter who thinks I'm an embarrassment? Those people? We were trying to help, Mike started. By isolating me? By making me feel like I was crazy for noticing my own wife's affair? By supporting Richard's campaign to paint me as the problem? Richard was protecting Jennifer. Richard was manipulating all of you, and you were too blind to see it. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut. These people had been my friends, my support system, my chosen family. Now they stood before me like strangers. David, Sarah said softly, we want to help you. But you need to stop this war against Jennifer. It's not healthy. You know it's not healthy? I said, my voice rising. 15 years of being treated like I'm lucky to be married to Jennifer. 15 years of Richard's snide comments about my background, my education, my worth. 15 years of being made to feel grateful for scraps from my own life. That's not, Tom began. It's exactly how it was. I slammed my hand on the desk. And you all enabled it. Every gathering where Richard made jokes about my blue-collar roots. Every time Jennifer dismissed my contributions as just technical stuff. Every time you nodded along like I should be grateful for the abuse. Kevin had stopped working, watching the confrontation with fascination. We never meant, Mike said weakly. You never meant to show me how little you all thought of me. Mission failed. Sarah's composure cracked. Fine. You want the truth? Jennifer was unhappy, David. She felt trapped, held back by someone who couldn't match her ambition. Richard was right. You two were never compatible. There it is, I said quietly. The truth finally comes out. She tried to make it work, Sarah continued. But you were content being small, being ordinary. Jennifer needed someone who could match her drive. Someone like Brad? I asked. Someone who understood her world, Tom said. Look, David, you're a good guy, but Jennifer operates on a different level. The level where you steal your husband's work and mock him to your lover? She made mistakes, Mike said. But she's trying to build something important. You're trying to tear it down out of jealousy. I looked at these 3 people who'd known me for years, who'd eaten at my table, who'd celebrated my successes and mourned my failures. They saw me as the villain in this story. Get out, I said quietly. David, Sarah started. Get out, I roared. All of you. Get out of my office. Get out of my life, and tell Richard that his little intervention failed. They left without another word. Kevin waited until the door closed before speaking. Well, that was enlightening. They really believe I'm the bad guy, I said, sinking into my chair. Of course they do. Jennifer and Richard have been crafting that narrative for years. You were just too close to see it. I stared at the door where my former friends had exited. I gave them 15 years of loyalty, and they gave you 15 years of conditional friendship, Kevin said. The condition being that you stay in your assigned role. Jennifer's grateful husband who knows his place. My phone buzzed. A text from Jennifer. The friend's intervention didn't work. Last chance, David. Come home, and we can fix this. I showed Kevin the message. What are you going to tell her? He asked. I typed back. I am home. This office, this work, this life I'm building. This is home. You made your choice. Now live with the consequences. Then I blocked her number. Ready to launch this thing? I asked Kevin. Let's burn their world down, he replied. Launch day arrived like Christmas morning for revenge-minded ex-husbands. Kevin and I had worked around the clock for 3 weeks, and our platform, which we'd named Phoenix Solutions, was ready to rise from the ashes of my former life. The tech conference where we'd chosen to unveil Phoenix was the same venue where Jennifer had planned to announce Tech Vanguard's IPO. The irony was delicious. Nervous? Kevin asked as we set up our booth. Excited, I corrected, watching Jennifer's booth across the hall. She was there with Brad, both of them looking haggard and desperate. Tech Vanguard's display was impressive, all flash and polish, hiding the fact that their core product was legally unusable. Marcus had arranged for tech journalists to attend our presentation. Word was already spreading through the conference that the Tech Vanguard founder had something new to show. At noon, Jennifer approached our booth. She looked older than her 39 years, stress etched in lines around her eyes. David, we need to talk. No, we don't, I said, not looking up from my laptop. Please, 5 minutes. I glanced at Kevin, who shrugged. Fine, 5 minutes. We walked to a quiet corner of the conference hall. This has to stop, Jennifer said. You're destroying both of us. I'm building something new. You're the one being destroyed. David, I know I made mistakes. Mistakes? I laughed. Jennifer, you systematically planned to steal my work, remove me from the company, and humiliate me publicly. Those aren't mistakes. That's strategy. I never wanted to hurt you. You wanted to discard me. There's a difference. She looked around the conference hall, at the journalists gathering near our booth, at the investors who were pointedly avoiding Tech Vanguard's display. What do you want? She asked quietly. Money? Equity? I'll give you whatever you need to make this stop. I don't want anything from you, Jennifer. I want you to understand what it feels like to be disposable. I never thought you were disposable. You called me dead weight. I heard you. Her face went pale. You were listening to my phone calls? I was working late in my own home office when you decided to discuss your plans to destroy me. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? David, that conversation was taken out of context. The context was you planning my professional execution while sleeping with Brad. What context makes that acceptable? Jennifer looked desperate now, cornered. Richard said you'd try to manipulate me with guilt, and there it is, Richard's voice, even now. Tell me, Jennifer, when did you stop thinking for yourself? Richard was protecting me. Richard was using you to destroy me, and you were too blinded by your own ambition to see it. I started walking back toward our booth. David, wait, she called. What about Emma? She needs both her parents. I stopped. Emma chose her side when she called me an embarrassment. She's an adult. She can live with her choices. You're really going to throw away our entire family? I'm not throwing anything away. I'm finally picking up the pieces of what you destroyed. The presentation began at 2 p.m. Kevin handled the technical demonstration while I told the story. How Phoenix Solutions had emerged from the ashes of betrayal. How we'd built something revolutionary in just 3 weeks. How the future belonged to companies that valued innovation over politics. The response was electric. Investors who'd been courting Tech Vanguard were suddenly very interested in Phoenix. Journalists who'd come to cover Jennifer's comeback were writing about mine instead. During the Q&A, a reporter asked the question I'd been waiting for. Mr. Williams, there are rumors that Phoenix Solutions uses proprietary code from Tech Vanguard. How do you respond? Every line of Phoenix code was written from scratch by Kevin Park and myself, I said. Unlike some companies, we don't steal intellectual property from our founders. The implication was clear. Jennifer, watching from across the hall, looked like she'd been slapped. After the presentation, Marcus approached with 3 other investors. David, we want in. Second round funding, $15 million, for 20% equity. Deal, I said, shaking his hand. My phone, which I'd unblocked for business purposes, lit up with messages. Mike. Saw the news coverage. This is getting out of hand. Sarah. David, you're embarrassing Jennifer publicly. Stop this. Tom. Richard's right. You've lost your mind. But there was one message that surprised me. Emma. Dad, saw your presentation online. It looks amazing. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back. When you're ready to hear my side of the story, I'll be here. Kevin appeared at my elbow. Check the stock ticker. Tech Vanguard's stock price had dropped another 40%. Phoenix Solutions was trending on social media, and Jennifer was nowhere to be seen. Phase 1 complete, I said. What's Phase 2? Kevin asked. I smiled, watching the investors and journalists still clustered around our booth. Phase 2 is where we stop just surviving and start thriving. But first, I had one more message to send. I found Richard's contact and typed. Your sister's company is finished. Your manipulation campaign failed. I'm not the weak man you thought you could destroy. Enjoy watching me succeed. Then I blocked his number too. The war was over. I'd won. But the best part, this wasn't even my final move. 6 months later, Phoenix Solutions had grown from a 2-man operation to a 50-employee company, with offices in 3 cities. We'd secured major contracts that Tech Vanguard had been pursuing, hired away their best talent, and become the darling of the tech investment community. Jennifer's company had declared bankruptcy 2 weeks earlier. I was reviewing quarterly reports when Patricia knocked on my office door. David, you have visitors. Jennifer walked in, followed by Richard. Both looked like they'd aged years in the past 6 months. Hello, Jennifer. Richard. I didn't stand up or offer them seats. David, Jennifer began, her voice smaller than I'd ever heard it. We need your help. No, you don't. You need a miracle, and I'm fresh out. Richard stepped forward, his usual arrogance replaced by desperation. Look, David, I know we've had our differences. Differences, I laughed. Richard, you spent years trying to convince everyone I was worthless. You succeeded so well that my own wife believed it. I was protecting Jennifer. You were feeding your own ego by destroying mine. There's a difference. Jennifer looked around my office. The awards on the walls, the photos of our growing team, the evidence of success built on my own terms. I lost everything, she said quietly. No, I corrected. You threw everything away. There's a difference. I know I hurt you, but I'm asking for help. Not for me, for Emma. I looked up sharply. What about Emma? She's been struggling, Jennifer continued. The divorce, the company failure, the public humiliation. She's having a hard time at school. Emma chose her side, I said. She called me an embarrassment, remember. She was 19 and influenced by, Jennifer glanced at Richard, by people who didn't understand the situation. People like you? Jennifer nodded, tears in her eyes. I was wrong, David, about everything. I let ambition and Richard's poison turn me into someone I don't recognize. And now that you've lost everything, you want forgiveness? I want to make amends. I studied my ex-wife, this woman who'd shared my bed for 15 years while planning my destruction. She looked broken, defeated, genuinely remorseful. What exactly are you asking for? A job, she said simply. For both of us. We'll take anything, junior positions, whatever you have available. The audacity was breathtaking. Richard shifted uncomfortably, clearly hating every second of this humiliation. You want to work for me? I asked. We're good at what we do, Jennifer said. The company failed because of personal issues, not professional incompetence. The company failed because you built it on stolen work and betrayal. I know, and I'm sorry. I leaned back in my chair, considering. Jennifer and Richard, working for me. The poetic justice was almost too perfect. No, I said finally. Jennifer's face crumpled. David, please. I said no to hiring you. But I have a different offer. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out a check I'd written that morning, knowing this moment would come eventually. $50,000, I said, placing it on the desk. Enough to get you both back on your feet, find new jobs, start over. Jennifer stared at the check. Why? Because I'm not you. I don't destroy people for sport. Richard looked suspicious. What's the catch? No catch. Take the money, disappear from my life, and we're even. That's it? Jennifer asked. That's it, but understand, this is the last time we speak. You made your choices, I made mine. This check closes the book on 15 years of marriage. Jennifer reached for the check with shaking hands. Thank you. Don't thank me. Thank the man you married, not the one you tried to destroy. They left without another word. I watched through my office window as they walked to their car. Jennifer clutching the check, Richard looking like he'd swallowed poison. My phone buzzed. A text from Emma. "Dad, can I come see you this weekend? I have some things to say," I typed back. "Of course. I'll pick you up at the airport." Kevin appeared in my doorway. "How'd it go?" "Better than expected," I said. "They're gone for good. And Emma? Emma's coming home." Kevin grinned. "So what's next for Phoenix Solutions?" I looked out at the city skyline, at the empire I'd built from the ashes of betrayal. Jennifer was right about one thing. I had been content being small, being ordinary. But she'd forced me to become something more. "Next we go global," I said. "I'm thinking about opening offices in London and Tokyo." "Ambitious. I learned from the best," I said. "Jennifer taught me that if you're going to dream, dream big." She just never imagined I'd dream bigger than her. My computer chimed with an email notification. Another potential client. Another opportunity to grow the company that existed because my wife had tried to destroy me. I smiled and opened the message. The future was bright, and it belonged entirely to me.